22 Nights of Terror has officially concluded, where we experienced daily demonic trickery with the fabric of Sanctuary being altered every 24 hours. I'm going to share with you my personal top 5 favorite festive buffs, in addition to some honorable mentions. I also want to hear from you in the comments below, so please do drop your favorite dashes of terror throughout this holiday event so we can supply this feedback to Blizzard as we encroach Season 3 and the future of possible events. Kicking us off is, in my opinion, the unanimous #1 favorite festive buff, which is the NPC vendor 50% off. Not only was this the most insane and polarizing, but it drove so much excitement throughout our community. For those that may have missed this was the ability to get up to 80% off vendor reducted prices by rocking a Geeds and the Edge runeward bow, which essentially gave a backdoor to unlimited and infinite gold, which gave us all the ability to gamble at will. Not only was this amazing, but we also had this on back-to-back Fridays, being that the event was called Black Friday 50% off. So it gave us all as a community the ability to finally take a break from the perpetual MF grind and do something a little bit different in the form of gambling, as you focus on circlets, going for those tri-res boots, 220 gloves, or of course trying to get some great 210 amulets and or some rings. So this was a really fun event. It drove a lot of euphoria and excitement amongst the group. So this lands at #1. Do you love experience? Because I certainly do. Coming in at #2 is the 10% experience boost in terrorized zones. For those that know, terrorized zones are now a focal point and the epicenter of the Diablo 2 Resurrected gameplay experience. If you are trying to make that push to 99, you typically start to focus on terrorized zones starting at character level 94, as that gives you more bang for the buck versus doing the legacy, chaos, and bail runs. Of course, in terrorized zones, that's also where you acquire Sundered Charms, and it also gives us the benefit of monster level scaling, which group upgrades treasure classes, meaning that certain zones give us more abilities to get every set and unique item in the game, non-event of course. When you combine the 10% boost with an anti-charm, or if you're rocking an Ondels, it definitely allows that bar to move a little bit more swiftly and efficiently. So I was very pleased that they delivered this, and this comes in for my #2. One of the most important components of Diablo is, of course, survivability, especially for exclusive hardcore players like myself. So with no surprise, coming in at #3 is the double HP buff. This is such an awesome thing to have, which gave us a little bit more security and blanket when we're playing and grinding and playing a bit aggressively in certain terrorized zones especially. But even though it really helped hardcore players, it does still benefit softcore, as of course, if you die, as everybody knows, you still do lose experience. Maybe you wanted to try Ubers for the first time, but you were a bit timid and shy, and so this finally gave you the confidence to take that leap of faith and jump into the fire because you had a little bit more of that amplified health boost. So well done, Blizzard. Love seeing this come through. I love that we had it for 24 hours, and hopefully we might see this one again in the future. One of the most frustrating components of Diablo is the inability to teleport in town and having to rely on faster run walk. But guess what? Blizzard saved the day with a massive quality life improvement, with coming in at #4 being a 100% increase in movement speed. This was such a nice quality of life feature to have, whether you have teleport or you don't, especially those that aren't playing Sorks or don't have an Enigma, which is more of a mid to end game armor. You then have to rely purely on your faster run walk gear or your charms. So this was such a big plus. Being able to move more swiftly around, especially in town, makes a huge significant difference, in my opinion, to the gameplay experience and your personal mental well-being. So thank you, Blizzard. I love this. A very quirky one to add, and this comes in at #4 in my top 5. And closing us out at #5 is actually a repeat buff that we saw in Season 1 over a couple days, and that, of course, is the +50 Magic Find buff. One of the most important fundamentals of Diablo is the basis of RNG and the probability of rolling and acquiring items, and the best way for you to influence that is, of course, increasing your Magic Find. For those that know, there are different probabilities and percentages for set, magic, and uniques, so you always want to try to get your Magic Find as high as possible as you reach those points of diminishing return. It's always a treat to have this. It's part of the game. You grind, you Magic Find, you try to upgrade your gear, and so for those that needed a little bit more of a boost, you certainly got that for 24 hours, and I was pleased to see this once again. Now officially transitioning into the honorable mentions, and kicking us off is the TZ rotations every 15 minutes. I do think for many this had a little bit of that ADHD effect, but it was definitely a treat to be able to have 4 different terrorized zones in an hour, being that these are in 15-minute increments. Now for some, though, that aren't necessarily that powerful to clear with speed, You weren't necessarily able to get more than 2 to 3 runs in per those 15 minutes, but at the same time, if it was a terrorized zone that you typically didn't like or didn't want to see, didn't have to sit there for an hour. So I appreciated the angle and the lens that they approached with this. Again, it was a very fringe top 5 for me. I think it possibly could have been in there for many, but this is our first honorable mention. One of my top 5 festive buffs had to do with the concept of survivability, and with the final day of the 22 Nights of Terror, they delivered a new dash of terror that we had not seen prior, which was a 75% increase in all resistances. I have to admit, this definitely was one that I considered putting in my top 5. I think it was highly a fringe option. It could have easily been interoperable with movement speed, with the Magic Find buff, because this is a significant, again, boost in survivability, just like the double HP buff. Whether you are in normal or you're in early hell, you don't have elite gear, you don't have a Torture and Annie yet. Typically, one of the things that you struggle with most, which is difficult to proceed and power through the game, is the lack of resistance, because monsters can do an immense amount of damage to you. So I love that they had this. I actually was predicting this was going to be one of my points of feedback to Blizzard, that we didn't see a resistance buff. So this comes in at number 2 on my fringe list, but again, I think it could have easily been in the top 5 for many. And closing out this segment, I had to include the 2 times increase in physical damage, which we actually saw twice throughout the holiday event. The reason I'm including this is that if you were looking at this through the lens of a melee character like a barbarian, a shapeshifter druid, or a zealer, for example, this arguably could have been in your top 5, because your primary source of damage is, of course, physical in many instances. So, of course, this isn't going to help casters, elementals, hammerdins, fodins, etc. But you know what? Sometimes the minorities do need a boost. Now, the only drawback of this was that I would have liked to see the physical damage actually extend to the mercenary, not just the character itself. But like I said, even though I don't personally play a melee character in Season 2, it was worth highlighting this and noting this, because we did see it twice, and it was a major boost in benefit to those classifications of characters. In addition to my top favorite festive buffs, I've actually dropped a video up here to the left going over my top 5 worst dashes of terror throughout this holiday event. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, in addition to dropping those comments below to share your personal exciting experiences with the 22 Nights of Terror. I appreciate you all stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the content, and as I like to say, si vis pacem parabellum. If you want peace, prepare for war theory.